We got a little inside here to show you all. Control it on the inside. Huh. You know, there's a crash plane, something similar to this, up in Chaguaramas, up in the mountains up there. Alright, and if you come to the military museum, you'll just see one similar up close without the... Woo! What's up, Trinbago Vibes peeps? Welcome to another episode of Trinbago Vibes. Behind me is the, military museum here in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's what we're exploring in this one. Yep, it's a walkthrough. So stick around for a must-visit spot on the island. But first, let me show you how to reach here. The military museum in Chaguaramas. So along the western main road, you'll pass Williams Bay, Pier 1, the Tucker Valley Road on the right hand side, and finally, after Five Islands Water Park on the left hand side, is the military museum. Careful not to pass it. It's right here next to the set of cannons is the entrance. Before endeavor fades. Let me know in the comments below if you know the motto or phrase. Right, let's head inside, and along the way is a mural depicting various military scenes throughout history. And spoilers, the military museum is not limited to just Trinidad and Tobago's military history. The founders of the military museum, who opened these doors on October 8, 1992. And wait, is that a tank? Why, yes it is! Wow. Now there are some ship anchors and other historical military vehicles, which is kind of cool to see upon entry. And don't forget to hit that like button for the algorithm, or subscribe if you haven't already. Trinbago Vibes. So this in memory of the flight crew who fell in the cause of freedom. By the way, these vehicles were mainly used during World War II. Yep, since 1939. They even have a monument for the fallen soldiers of the Battle of Somme in 1916, which is a major battle in the First World War. And yes, we'll check out the BWIA plane in the back just later in this one. Now, the museum opens from 10 AM to 5 PM on Tuesdays to Sundays, with a $50 entry fee to us locals, like TT. And kids 12 and under pay 40 TT. And there's ample parking, and you can also purchase food here, which we'll check out one of these days, from the bar called Old Navy Restaurant and Bar here at the museum as well. So we just you see the drive-in there, have all the vehicles, the gun turrets, an outskirt of a helicopter, a BWIA plane, and this is the museum itself, the military museum itself. So this is a fort that we're going to check out. I like how they have this drawbridge here. That's pretty cool. Shout out Miss Katian and those who manage the museum for allowing me to film this. Y'all definitely need to check this out. Don't mind Brownie making some sounds in the background there. Yeah, inside that joke. But this is my first time visiting this museum here. And honestly, it's pretty cool and impressive. Like, I knew they had certain artifacts and certain vehicles and the BWIA plane here, but I didn't realize how many things they would have, as you'll see later in this one. Trinbago Vibes. Alright, so as soon as you enter the museum,
on the left hand side is have the sword collection. These looks like katanas though. And those there looks like soldier swords and probably some pirate swords and stuff. And this here would be, you know, rapiers and whatnot. Now, Lieutenant Commander Gaylord, you know, Kelshal, he's the one who opened this museum. And let me tell you, there's a lot of different things. So, this is the cannon. So this is the Chaguaramas Military History and Aerospace Museum. Just taking our walkthrough, you'll get to see exactly what the museum has. These conquistadors.
Basically the Spanish conquerors, you know, back in the days.
They actually have like the hats, something, and now these things you normally see in the movies, so it's pretty cool to see it here. You know, have a few Amerindian artifacts and arrows as well. And they have a lot of photos and everything of the time the conquistadors or Christopher Columbus rediscovered Trinidad and Tobago. Have some silverware. So you have 500 years of military history here
inside of it.
This feels like you all just seen these things here. This feels like a ride you would take in one of those theme parks. Like how they built these corridors, they even have the cobblestone steps and everything.
See, all inside there.
So this would have been first aid.
No, this was part of, all this is part of the war when they got damaged and all that.
Oh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So this was part of the war.
Yeah, well, this is everything inside of here.
Mm-hmm.
This has piece of history to it.
Oh, okay.
There's a tour guide, but he's not here today. So
Oh.
he will be able to give you
More history and stuff.
More history.
This is HMS Victory 1765. Spanish reels or pieces of peat. Ralph Abercrombie. So we have an Abercrombie Street in Port of Spain. That's the man it was probably named after. So Oh, bottles. Yeah, some moss. Not Elon Musk, eh? These are rifles and guns. Afghan chisel matchlock. The flintlock, African flintlock. Martini Henry 45 rifle. I was told this is the smallest gun ever. Wow.
By the way, you can book a tour guide as well. You know, someone who will give you a wealth of information on everything that's in the museum. Also, we're just covering about 80% of the museum, more or less, in this one. And honestly, videos don't do justice for what's on display here at the Military Museum. So let me know in the comments below if you do plan to visit, or have you visited the museum already. I'd like to know.
So this is the pirate section, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean.
So not only does the museum has a large sword collection, it also appears to have some historic guns as well, you know, and some of these things you'll normally see it in those classical movies, you know, depicting those kind of times, colonial times. I know I keep saying this like a broken record. Anywho, there's a large selection of artifacts to take in, and it's basically one pathway to walk through, you know, one loop, so to speak. So you definitely would not get lost here, except probably your time in admiring these artifacts. Yeah. And showcases like these do remind me of some museums that I've visited already abroad.
I won't lie though, they have a very wide sword collection. Like, we visited the National Museum and they had a sword collection, but this here have probably one of the largest sword collections here in the country, the Military Museum. So right now we just do a quick walk through so you all could see like how much information, what the museum entails, and I already recommend you all visit. You know, it's one thing to see this on video, but it's another thing to see it firsthand, you know.
So into the trenches we go.
in the trenches, dead man corner. This is the woman in uniform. So they have a lot of information, they have a lot of history here. Some parachutes, boy? Yeah, boy? Huh. Parachutes. Different World War helmets. And decoration of Mr. Kelshal. Just want to show you all this here. The diorama of what will happen during World War, this miniature model kind of thing. It depicts the third day of battle at the Amiens Bridge. The paratroopers were under attack by armored from the 9th SS Panzer, as well as the instructors of nearby Tiger Training School. You know, the Germans have begun to set fire to the top of buildings to force the paratroopers out. The wreckage on the bridge ramp represents the smashed armored vehicles. Ooh, look at that. I have no idea what these are, but this looks like parts of a submarine. Oh no, or a torpedo. Oh, this is the inside of a submarine. Oh, wait now. Okay. This replicates the inside of a submarine, and it's part of it was from an actual submarine. You know, and this is a torpedo launch. L5 acoustic torpedo. Things like these be kind of fun, you know, you have some interactions. Parts from wreckage from crash American bomber found in Trinidad. So look at this, all these Gatling guns, knives. And there's a certain part of the museum that's under renovation. I was told they had a fire some time ago. So yeah, so they're in the process of you know, fixing that section. Look how shiny used to look. Yes, peeps, some people will still have phones like these. Dutch currency, French currency, old school French, British currency, German currency. Wow, old school stuff, man. You have engines, plane engines. Look at this. Wow. Now this is the BWIA plane, the A340-300 that they would have had outside the museum. We'll take a walk in this in a little bit. I think this is part of the plane here. The old part of the plane that's, you know. Oh, this is cool. So I'll take a side view here inside the plane and this part of the plane itself. That's kind of cool, man. Yeah. This is the Airport Authority. Dread. Like going through the museum, I did not know it had all those kind of cool elements inside the military museum itself. And I have a good bit of history there as well as things that they would have recovered and have it stored for visitors. And right now, you know, like this is on the outside. This is the old plane, that BWIA plane. That's now the museum. This is the old helicopter I was telling you about. And some gun turrets. It's kind of cool to see these things actually, because like I did not know like how all it's like. Yes, I knew the plane here, but like to know it have all these other elements, you know, like walking through the museum itself was a nice like reminder of some of the rides or some of the things I would have encountered like on my travels to some of the other museums and also to some theme parks. All right, so this is the plane. Let's take a walk to the top. I won't lie though, this is pretty awesome to visit. This is my first time visiting here. Like I didn't know it had all these things right. So yeah, Trinbago vibes. It's pretty cool. Like right up to the top, we'll give you the overview before we go inside the plane. Some nice ocean view. There's a museum down there. Next door is 5 Islands. So yeah. Inside the cockpit. And well, this is basically the inside of this plane. This would have been like an aisle, 2 aisles, and it will have seats down the middle, I guess, and on the edges as well. Pretty amazing. Huh. So, the museum does have a legal battle going on with the city at the time of this recording, so it doesn't be open all the time. So I do recommend you call the number. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, but call this number as well. I do recommend call ahead, check them out, and come and visit, take in this part of history, you know, the military museum down here in Chaguaramas. It has some real pretty awesome stuff that you could go and do some selfies with, you know, things to see, and it's a nice walk through. And of course there's some history to learn as well. Trinbago Vibes. So hope you all enjoy this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Go on later. Could have been a pod. I'd seen this down BWIA as well.